But a bit of an interesting development. A decision has been made, a ruling has been made that if there's too many issues here on the Singapore server, then we're just gonna be switching to Asia.
Yeah, we'll switch to the Taiwanese server, which is second best to Singapore when it comes to equal ping for both players.
But I guess now it's actually the best if the issues persist.
True. Very true.
Too many sharks in the waters, chomping on the Ethernet cords.
God damn it, Demi.
SMH my head. As we start off our series on Oxide LE, where in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player coming out for the land of Singapore. He is going to be representing Downfall Gaming, DFG, as well as Clan Brorios, every single one of his brothers. He is insane. He is Saiko.
Not to be confused with Insane or Zane.
Or in.
Or Inu.
Or, yeah, Inu.
That's spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE. We have the Australian Zerg player. He is blue, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Oreo. One of the Brisbane boys.
All in that city, all meeting up at the, what was it, Queensland
University of Queensland.
Cafe? Yeah, there we go.
Queensland Cafe. There's only one cafe in all of Queensland.
Well, you know what I mean, like a PC bong. The Queensland PC bong.
Exactly.
All definitely been practicing a lot.
Definitely. For those who don't know, this is public information, but Azure, Oreo, and NXZ, the Brisbane boys, they do meet up every single week on Thursdays to practice together and to have some fun at the University of Queensland, at the LAN that they have there, at the LAN Centre. And there have been a couple of times where they've streamed it, but their streams are not consistent.
Yeah, I think LAN upload speeds are also a little bit inconsistent, or not even the speed, but just, you know, the stability. That might be why Oreo's having issues with. No, it's probably not that.
Probably not. Well, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we are able to maybe make something happen there. Maybe make some content. We'll see. For those wondering, that's also the same venue that BrizCraft was held at.
Will likely be held at in the future.
Oh yeah.
Oreo once again going for the third. Although this time not as a third base, but as a second base.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Saiko is opening up with that Stargate. And again, so these two players, there's a reason why Saiko is on Clan Brorios. They practice a lot together, and not just that, they're good friends. They're very good friends. They know how each other plays, you know, they talk about the game together. So Saiko,
they show match each other all the time.
Yeah, so there is going to be this weird dynamic between the two of them where I imagine there are going to be a lot of mind games. Both of they know how each other plays, so we'll see how they're going to be able to use that to their advantage.
Or if they just not in the end.
It's true.
Sometimes you don't want to go into mind games out of fear of mind gaming yourself. And for the time being, it does look like a very, very standard ZvP happening right now. Oreo, or Saiko rather, with the Oracle. Oreo defending against some Adepts.
Yeah, the Adepts do get away and get 4 drone kills, so honestly, that was some pretty good damage already by Saiko. Saiko did open up with the Stargate and is going Oracles. I kind of want him to go for a Twilight Council after this, but we'll see what he goes for.
My Twilight Council is exactly what Oreo's thinking. Potentially, probably not considering the amount of queens he's pumping out.
Well, I mean, especially because Oreo was forced to take this forward third base. Like, I don't know, Glaive Adepts could do a lot here, but we see Saiko is actually getting a Void Ray. Oh.
You might as well. You want to be denying as much map information as possible from the Zerg player. Nice pickoffs here for the Oracle, and it will survive getting out of there.
Yeah, 5 kills already. Obviously, that being 4 drones and a creep tumor. But yeah, some really nice damage done already by Saiko. Saiko behind this is actually going for a Robo.
Okay, so we could be seeing some disruptors coming out. Again, it's likely that Saiko knows that Oreo's go-to in the ZvP, especially against Stargate compositions, is just massive Roach Queen pushes. And funnily enough, disruptors are just about the direct counter to that.
Yeah, well, that's what Zane did yesterday, if you recall. That's why Oreo had a bit of a harder time against Zane, because Zane would, in some instances, blindly go for those disruptors, and yeah, he was just ready for Oreo and his Roach Queen Ravager.
I'll see how prepared Saiko's going to be this time. Actually going for Immortal Void Ray, so still not grabbing the Robobait just yet. Wants to be very, very safe in this sort of early mate game.
Yeah, honestly, it's a little bit of a strange composition that Saiko is going for. Like seeing a sole robotics facility in the production tab was really odd to me, because typically you see something else alongside it. There we go. Finally, we have the Twilight Council on the way.
Twilight Council as well as the Forge, so he is switching to a very, very gateway heavy army, but this is a pretty odd timing, wouldn't you say, Light?
Are you feeling Blink Stalkers or Charge Lots?
I feel like the obvious answer is Charge Lots, so I'm gonna say Glaive to Depths.
God damn it, Yaku. Meanwhile, yo, these Voiders are actually dealing a lot of damage. The Queen did go down, forces all of this lost mining at the gases.
And you don't want to underestimate that when you're going for, I was gonna say Roaches, but it seems like Oreo wants to go for Lurkers, potentially? Hasn't thrown down the Hydra Den just yet, but he is going for a very, very quick infestation pit. Do you think Oreo wants to, he's getting Burrow, do you think he wants to get Swarm Host, Light?
That was my first thought when I saw that infestation pit. There are some Zerg players who do go for Swarm Host, obviously Chan being one of them. There are a couple of others in the scene. We'll see if Oreo does that. I mean, the problem is that right now he needs an army. The Immortals and the Sentries are here now, and Oreo has just been so greedy. The Swarm Hosts are coming out, but they're kind of too late.
Way too late. This sort of pseudo Soul Train is already taking out one of the bases. One of the most important bases right now for Oreo. He needs that forward production if he wants to go in the offense.
Exactly. Oreo was being far too greedy there, just focusing on droning up and teching up quite heavily. I mean, the Swarm Hosts are coming out, but mate, there's only 4. 4 Swarm Hosts, they're going to help. Oh boy.
And that's all you need, right?
Here we go. Here comes the Locust Wave. Yeah, the Lynx do get a wrap around, and he does force a recall.
Actually, some very, very impressive positioning here from Oreo. Making sure that there was no escape for Saiko, but now it's do or die time. He cannot afford to slowly siege out these bases with Swarm Hosts anymore. He is down 1 base. He's down to 2 bases right now, like. He needs to kill his Protoss opponent, or at least even up the damage.
Exactly. Here we go. That Roach Ravager push is kind of coming out with kind of support by those Swarm Hosts, but again, those Swarm Hosts, they have to wait a little bit longer for their Locust Wave to recharge. Oreo is in a really rough position here. He has to do something about Saiko, because Saiko, now on 4 bases, is going to get out of control.
Literally twice the bases right now of Oreo. And if having less bases than the Protoss opponent is the Zerg player's nightmare, being on half the amount of bases, I don't even want to imagine what that is. If you look at Biles, though, taking out the Observer.
Yeah, the Biles were pretty solid, but he wasn't able to deal with the army. And if this army is allowed to just slowly get like larger and larger, this is terrifying. We do have a Zealot Warbin in the main base of Oreo. Oreo also has to try and deal with the main army with all these Immortals. Oh.
Yeah, but not quite splitting up his army effectively enough. Evacuates the drones from the main base. That was a kill on the 3rd hatchery, not a cancel. And I think it's just a nail in the coffin right now. Oreo is up a little bit on the army supply. He can try to go for a bit of a counter push, but I'm not convinced it's going to be enough. A lot of that supply is inflated by Roaches.
Yeah, the problem
and
with
Swarm Hosts.
The problem with Oreo's army, and Oreo is well aware of it, is that he's invested a lot of money into these Swarm Hosts, and a lot of tech, and a lot of time, and a lot of everything, and they just haven't paid for themselves. He just hasn't had an efficient fight. Finally, the Locust Wave does land, and he's able to push away the army. Oh, but he just biles himself.
That's an if I've ever seen one. Saiko. His Thermal Lance isn't even finished up, but this Colossus still far outranges the Roaches. Able to siege out these bases. Oreo on a perpetual 2-base economy.
Yeah, exactly. He tried to expand over to the right-hand side, and oh my god, another kill on a hatchery. He's lost 3 hatcheries already. To be fair, this army of Saiko honestly isn't that large, so maybe Oreo is hoping to try and catch it, but oh god, that's a big if, and this army is going to be reinforced. I say reinforced. That Warpism is just warping more Zealots into the main.
Might as well. He knows Oreo doesn't have enough army supply to split up his army efficiently. Might as well start picking him apart here. Look at all these vulnerable queens taken out by the stalkers. Or one of them gets taken out by the stalkers, but
yep, and
damage
everything
has been done regardless.
Everything is flashing red here for Oreo. He has Zealots in his main. He has Zealots in his natural base. He loses that 4th once again. And Saiko, he is running away with his mate. He's getting a 5th base. Oh
this
my god.
This is the Protoss players, every Protoss player's dream, isn't it?
And earlier when I was talking about
3 bases.
And earlier when I was talking about like these players mind gaming each other, I think that's exactly what happened. Like Oreo going for Stormhost like this is very unorthodox, and I mean I guess it's something that he planned specifically to go for Saiko because he knew he was going for a ground-based composition. Saiko going for an early immortal push like that, again, it just completely caught Oreo off guard. He wasn't ready for it, and yeah, things just worked better in Saiko's favor.
Now, do you think this is more of a mind game from Oreo though?
I think it's a bit of both. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm worried Oreo may have overthought this a little bit too much. One wave of locusts doesn't even match the land. The Archon's doing such a good job getting the splash damage off from the sky. GG's called, and Saiko is gonna take game number 1.
GG, well played. Saiko already up in the series, and now Saiko only needs 1 more game to win. And sorry, I say to win, to advance on in this bracket and knock down Oreo, knock out Oreo. And oh god, the stress right now, like this is terrifying. Like now Oreo, what's he gonna be thinking? What if he cannon rushes me? What if he proxies me? Like oh god, his life is on the line.
He really needs to relax. At the very least, it seems like that game didn't have too many technical issues.
It didn't. Hopefully.
So Oreo may be feeling a little bit better on that, but yeah, I think that was definitely a case of Oreo overthinking what was happening. And I guess not just overthinking it, but it's one of those cases where you're super confident you know what your opponent's going to do.
Yeah.
So you try to go for something that will sort of counter that, but your opponent switches things up a little bit. Not massively, but just a little bit with that earlier Immortal push. If Oreo just had hit a couple of scouters out on the map, like maybe some spotterlings or something, would be hard with it would be hard to get overlords out with the void race, but
it's one of those things where if Oreo honestly just went for his regular like Roach Ravager like queen push, he would have been fine.
Would have pretty well.
Yeah, it would have been in a much better position.
Would have had more than enough biles and what have you to shut down sentries. But regardless, we are continuing our series on Beckett Industries, LE, the business incubator. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the Blues player coming down for the land of Brisbane. He is going to be representing CranKy Ducklings. Everybody spam your yos to make his opponent say, uh-oh, he is Oreo.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Beckett Industries LE, we have the Singaporean Protoss. He's red, representing Downfall Gaming DFG. It is Saiko.
The bro of Rio, if you will. The bro Rio.
The bro of Rio.
I mean, there are a lot of bro Rios, but he's definitely the bro Rio.
There you go. Oh, and he does go for a probe scout. This was a pull first, by the way, so Oreo is going to be a little bit more aggressive across the map. I say aggressive, I mean safe in general, in case there was a proxy out here. So it does make a lot of sense, especially since, you know, Oreo, one more step up and he's out, that he goes for something like a pull first.
Yeah, he knows exactly what map he's on. This is... Beckett Industries is one of those maps where you could literally just build your gateway units from your own side of the map and then take advantage of speed zones to already try to apply some pressure on the natural base or something like that.
Speaking of, Saiko also has to respect this because a pull first on Beckett Industries can still go across the map incredibly quickly, and it can wreak havoc here. So Saiko, he needs to wall off. He already chronoed out his first Zealot, which is a great first step, but that's the first of many.
Get the building, Saiko! You didn't get the building! Okay, he has time to get the building.
Yeah. He does get the building up just barely. That's
and
exactly...
Oreo shouldn't be able to get too much done here. Actually, there's a decent amount of surface area.
Oh, yeah.
Saiko has to be so careful with the Zealot dance, but he is careful enough.
Oreo does back off. He doesn't want to take his chances. Instead, he confirms that, hey, Saiko, you're at home. You know, everything is at home. There's nothing being proxied. I'm a little bit safe, and I can drone up.
Yeah, I think Oreo definitely wants to go into a little bit more of a macro game. Obviously, he does not want to go into late game, but gets Protoss here. But at the very least, gets into the mid stage of the game. He tends to go for a lot of Roach, Ravage, Queen pushes light, but how would you feel about Oreo going for a Hydra timing?
A Hydra timing? Personally, I would love it. I don't know if that's the kind of player he is. That's
not quite a
problem. Yeah, not quite a Miyamika, not quite a Solar. I personally, I would approve of something like that, but yeah, like obviously risks come with it, right? Like if your opponent is going for charge shots, if your opponent has Storm, like it can be really difficult to execute. But at the same time, you know, it isn't really something that we see too often in this region. Like even Miyamika has his own twist to things, you know. So yeah, I think
not getting creep.
Yes. So I think Oreo would have success with something like that, but as we see, he is still going for his tried and true roaches.
I guess that is kind of the bread and butter for a ZvP. If Lingbane is the baseline for ZvZ and ZvT, then roaches and ravages are definitely the baseline for ZvP.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just a way to be prepared. Like going for queens and roaches is a way to just prepare yourself for everything, whether it's, you know, Glaive of Depths or even like a Void Ray opening.
Force fields. I guess it's specifically more of a Ravager thing than a Roach thing, but similar principles. Oreo going for a very early Warp Prism Harass, but not with any Twilight Council upgrades. Going pure Stalker, which we have seen a couple of times in the past. They're probably the best unupgraded Protoss gateway unit.
Yeah, exactly. As it looks like this time Oreo did not drone up. He did make a couple of units. He has plenty of Lings and Roaches to push this away. Saiko, once again, was trying to catch Oreo out of really awkward timing and catch him off balance. But this time Oreo was prepared.
This time it was not the timing that was awkward, but a Warp Prism.
Exactly. And now there's plenty here to defend. He even has the queens ready. Ooh, gets a nice round on these stalkers.
That's something you absolutely want to utilize well. These stalkers don't have blink. They will be able to get hot picked up by the Warp Prism. But with the amount of queens, it is gonna take a lot of luck right now for Saiko to find good positions to unload.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, he just wants to buy time. That's all he's really doing. Like, he doesn't intend to deal too much damage. He has to be careful not to lose his Warp Prism, so he's kind of stuck in this dead space. Ooh.
Right, for some recall? Okay, not quite. And Oreo actually making a lot of Lings right now. Like, I am very worried for Saiko.
Exactly. Saiko, maybe even thinking to expand. Ooh, but he does catch a whiff of this. He is throwing down the shield battery.
Definitely knows he needs to be safe here. This Adept is actually buying Saiko a little bit of time. Just enough to sort of reposture himself. Get some force fields if he needs to. This Warp Prism really wants to get damage done, like.
It does. It dies back in. Oh! Does avoid the vials.
Just at the last second.
And right now, this is fine for Oreo. I mean, sure, he made a massive wave of Lings, but what he's doing is he is containing his opponent to 2 bases. So now Oreo can freely drone up this third base. I say that, but he is continuing to make roaches.
Yeah, keyword being can, and I don't think Oreo wants to drone up anytime soon. I don't think he wants this game to go beyond the 9-minute mark here.
Yeah, and I don't blame him, especially because we see what's coming, right? Saiko, he's going for Disruptor drops. And if you're a little bit too passive, those Disruptor drops can deal a lot of damage.
On the flip side of that, if you are too aggressive, the Disruptor shots can be what keeps the Protoss player alive. It all comes down to the control from either side.
Exactly.
We'll see who has the better one today.
Yeah, Oreo, who is still joining up a little bit further. We'll see if he does stop at some point or if he just commits to an attack. But the problem is that if he was going to commit to an attack, I would have liked for it to have been a little bit earlier. Right now, he's just been focusing on defending against the War Prism. Again, buying a lot of time, and Oreo's just kind of chilling. A little bit supply blocked.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate for Overlord's on the way. Will remedy that, but I feel like Oreo needs to pull the trigger very, very soon. Maybe even now. To be fair, I guess Saiko has been on 2 bases for a long time, which is fine for the Protoss player, but not ideal, especially if you want the game to go on for much longer.
Oh boy, exactly. Meanwhile, the Lings of Oreo are keeping everything in check. I believe he does not see the 3rd base yet, but he should circle around. Yeah, that he does, and he should confirm the 3rd base timing. Shut it down!
Right in the middle of that army. Very good chunk of it goes down. But there's still plenty more where that came from for Oreo.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, this army is getting caught out of position here. May even force a recall as it does get surrounded.
Once again, no Twilight Council, no gateway upgrades here.
Oh my god,
Purification Nova does get avoided a little bit here from Oreo. And I think that was just the push he needed to get the momentum going.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's going across the map again. A lot of units were lost. It does take more bounce to the face here. One of the disruptor shots is going to be available, but oh god, the Sea City.
He has to go around here. Actually, this Purification of us is own immortal. GG is called. Oreo takes us to the ace match.
GG. Well played. We saw some amazing disruptor shots, and then we saw some that weren't so great.
Yeah, I'm liking Ranger here in the chat. A good disruptor hit can really turn things. They can also turn things to Desert favor.
Yeah, they can turn things for the worst. They are the great equalizer.
Yeah, I would just take out good disruptor hit can turn things. Disruptor hit can turn things. Whether up or down, that's to be determined. I do think it was really important for either player really to get Beckett Industries out of the way.
Yep. And also, we are going on a trip. Yaku, we are going to Asia.
Oh. I'll pack my suitcase.
You're already there. What are you on about? What are you saying? Oh god, as we do hop on over to the Asia server, we are going to be playing on the Taiwan server specifically for these players.
Yeah, the other predominantly Chinese island.
There you go.
Oh, this is a real zest.
It is.
Because it's DPG, yeah. Saiko meeting his idol a little bit here. A little bit starstruck. I thought for a second it might have been Jaedong Oz, but I believe Jaedong Oz plays on the Chinese server. Or should I say the Chinese client? Alright, just waiting for our players to get ready, get settled on a different server. Do need to reinitialize. A couple of things need to load up.
Boy, as we are getting into the ace match. Meanwhile, we may as well refresh that bracket and see what's happening, what has happened so far. I can see Starduck in the chat, so I guess maybe he has finished up his series. Yeah, he's waiting for his next opponent.
There we go. Is that already? No, not quite. That is going to be the pre-qualifier there for Starduck. Going to be facing either Crimson or Justice Simon, and that, I think, is the matchup that is completely up in the air, Light. Because those are the two players we just do not know how their ZvP/PBZ is looking like.
Yeah, I want to give the edge to Justice Simon just because he went on hiatus more recently, right? Like, he's only been on hiatus for a couple of months, like 6 months. Meanwhile, Crimson for like 3 years. So,
but at the same time, Crimson still had some insane ZvZ for ANZ champs.
If Justice Simon was Zerg, then yeah, sure, I'd be afraid for his opponent, but
yeah, that's exactly the thing that makes me wonder, because Crimson qualify for ANZ champs. He was one of the first players to qualify for ANZ champs, but he himself said something like, yeah, no, it's just that I'm really good at ZvZ. I'm not so confident in my other matchups. Who knows, really, at the end of the day, what that matchup is going to be? Who knows who StarDuck is going to face? But we know that either one of these players is going to advance to face, was it Azure?
Yes. Yes.
Not quite. No.
Yeah, Dash. Exactly. Yeah.
One of them. And who is it going to be? Is it going to be our red Protoss player spotting in the top right-hand corner map, all the way to the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha, KBBLE, representing Downfall Gaming, DFG, as well as every single one of the Broreos here. He is insane. He's killer. He is Saiko. Chekase.
What?
That's not from 2000, so that's from 80s, I think.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Australian Zerg player, hailing from the land of Brisbane, Queensland. Of course, representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's looking to make his opponent go, uh-oh, it is Oreo.
Around the Bondi area?
That's not in Queensland at all.
Is it not?
No, what?
Wait, where is Bondi? Is it north or is it south?
What? Middle? What?
Middle? Wait, what? What?
It's in Sydney, mate.
Oh, so it's south.
Well, it's in between Queensland and Melbourne.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's south?
You
but
may be.
Queensland isn't really north.
No, it's very north. What do you?
Wait, what? Isn't Queensland more east?
What? Well, yeah, it's on the east coast. All three of them are on the east coast. What are you on about?
Wait, what?
What?
No, but it's eastern east.
What?
This outlet isn't blocking the wall.
Yeah, you need to open up a map, right? So you need to look at the goddamn map, right?
I thought you were gonna say I need to open up my eyes.
You need to do that as well.
And be like, I can't do that without a doctor present.
Oh my god! Someone call Ryan.
He would give me a chess lesson.
Would. Oh god. I was about to say something as well, and you just got me.
Once again, Oreo opening up very, very safe with that pool first. Saiko going for the Stargate.
Yeah, that he is. Of course, we are now on Jagannatha for the first time today, I believe, and we'll see how.
No, we had it when it was Ares versus Nux.
Oh, there we go. Apparently, we
purged it from your memory.
I did.
It was a 2-on-1 game.
Ah.
No wonder.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. So yeah, I'm honestly really curious to see what Saiko goes for. I mean, personally, I feel like going for double Stargate forward rate might be the play here, but at the same time, because of these speed zones, those queen pushes, they can hit a lot faster.
They absolutely can, but you have to think that that's something Saiko would be aware of, though, right? Right?
I would assume so. But then again, Oreo also went Storm Host in game 1, so
He did. Everything's up in the air right now. Saiko doesn't know what to think. He's Saiko.
Exactly. He's lost his mind. Oh god. Meanwhile, thank you so much, Broken Jar, for the raid. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed your stream, and I hope you enjoy some Australian StarCraft or Oceanic StarCraft.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of that today. We're getting a lot of Asia Pacific StarCraft today.
True.
After these qualifiers, we'll be going into Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Mongolia. But before that, Oreo is going into the wall. Or avoiding the wall.
Yeah, right now he's just checking to see if there's a third base that's on the way. He does split off a couple of wings as well. Even confirms, there's a Stargate, there's a second Oracle coming out as well. Second Oracle. So yeah, he's well aware of what Saiko's opener has been so far, so he should be prepared. I know that Oreo loves to skip out on his spores, and we do see that here at the third, but he does have 3 queens to make up for it.
Which is about as good of a spore if you think about it.
Is it?
Well, they'll not in certain areas, but definitely not good against mutas or anything like that. But I I would favor them against oracles or something like that. Oreo Saiko actually being very, very aggressive here, going so far forward with his Void Race, with his Adepts. He wants to keep the economy of Oreo down. Decent surrounds.
Yeah, so far so good, but micro has been good by Saiko as well, but it looks like the majority of these Adepts are going to be cleaned up.
Yeah, all of them actually going down in the end, but they trade with the Lings. I don't think it's quite the damage that Saiko wanted to get done.
Oh, but this damage,
That's
mate.
damage, though. Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it looks like Oreo was able to react to one of them, where only one drone was stasis, but he was not ready in the main.
That's a very interesting maneuver that Saiko just did here. Normally, when you see double Oracle, you want to keep them together. You want to start one-shotting the drones. But instead, he split them up and got stasis wards on 2 different bases. I want to see more Protoss players do that from now on.
It's very Terran-esque, right? Where like they have 2 Liberators, they siege them up at different bases, and then they push in like at the front to distract their opponent.
Speaking of 2 Oracles, though, yeah, this is the only one.
Yeah, exactly. He did get 4 workers, but again, a lot of damage was done there. Oh boy. But again, all of this has been keeping Oreo busy at home, and Saiko has established his 3rd base.
Which is just about where you want to be right now as the Protoss player, especially on a map like Jagannatha. Can be a bit easier to defend your economy, but we'll see where Saiko ends up going. Still has not gone for any additional Stargates. He's actually being very gateway focused this game.
Yeah, which I'm not terribly opposed to be honest. I feel like he knows that if he does go for Stargate play, like that is something that Oreo is more comfortable against, and that is just straight up true. So yeah, Saiko instead avoiding that entirely, focusing on a more grand focused army, and maybe it's something that maybe Oreo is a little bit more uncomfortable with and maybe struggles a little bit more against.
Which again, being able to find just about the direct counter to that is what he kind of needs. Oreo's creep threat has been a lot better this game than in the previous one, so he knows exactly what's coming up for him. Has plenty of time to set up. Ravagers are on the way. He's actually already getting a hive. Just noticed.
Yeah, yeah, he's been taking up quite a bit. We'll see what he decides to go for with that hive. Personally, I would love if he did go for some Vipers.
Straying very far off creep here. He knows that this is a very vulnerable force that Saiko has, and he wants to go for it, but he might be drawn a little bit too far away. The Oracle is behind mineral lines right now.
Oh god, oh god!
What a madman Saiko is, getting these stasis wards one after the other. Oreo starving out for quite some time this game, but I don't think it matters too much. He has already been able to double the army supply of Saiko, and he's just going straight for his push.
Oh, exactly. Saiko, he is kind of ready. He's throwing down a couple more stack defense at his 3rd base, a couple more shield batteries, a couple more pylons, even a couple of cannons. Oh god, but we see Oreo is pushing into the natural where there isn't too much here. A decent amount of immortals though. 3. Oh god, one of them exposed though. Both of them exposed.
Very, very exposed. I fear he may have popped the battery overcharge a little bit too soon. Blake did finish up, thankfully. Is able to avoid a lot of these biles. Oreo really coming far forward. Battery overcharge has been used up. So many of these stalkers so light. They're at a very good choke point.
Oh god, that they are, but you know
they
what?
do eat the biles.
Yeah, and two immortals were already taken out. Oh my god, he blinks aggressively onto the Road Trapper, which I don't think it was necessarily the best move.
It might have been enough to sort of chase Oreo back here, but yeah, in the end, I think Saiko traded a lot less efficiently than he should have. He is on 4 bases now, and he's about to start mining from that 4th base, so maybe if he is left alone for another couple of minutes, he's going to be able to get another defensive force out, but I don't think Oreo's going to let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, what's scary right now is what you just said. You know, the 4th is done. It's being saturated. It's already saturated. Not just that. We have Disruptors. We have Colossus on the way. Double Robo production. Oreo did just scout with the Link, and he did see the Disruptor, so he's aware of that tech at least. He hasn't seen the Colossus yet, though, and I don't know if you want to be staying on Ling Roach Ravager.
At least not against a Colossus, yeah. His hive did finish up, but he's just using that for Adrenal Glands, and eventually I imagine 3-3. I don't think he... Okay, he's on +1 range.
Eventually he'll get 2-2 and then 3-3. But I 100% agree. I'm not too sure what the point of the hive was. I was hoping it was going to be for Vipers, because honestly Vipers right now would be amazing, right? Abduct the Colossus, abduct the Disruptor. There's no High Templar. Like, Vipers would be amazing right now. And he has the tech for it. He just hasn't gone for it yet. Just there we go, finally.
The Vipers
make the foresight on this guy. He knows in 2 minutes exactly what I'm gonna say.
Dude, this is why we signed him.
Exactly.
He's like, how is Light gonna yell at me this time?
Oh god, look, I don't yell at them too often, okay? I just
but when you do, you don't yell at them too often, but when you do, it's definitely something.
Yeah. Oh boy,
Saiko
but
coming in, and Oreo's not quite ready yet. Decent Purification Nova, but definitely could have been worse here for Oreo. All the force fields have been used up. Oh, very good Colossus volleys. Oh, but recalls at just about the wrong time, it seems. Both Colossus will go down.
Yeah, and even though he did recall, the Banelings still found their connection. Some Colossus did fall. Only one remained just barely with its life. And now Oreo, it's go time. He's going across the map. He's being stopped by his own Banelings, but he does neither fifth. Can he stop the fourth?
One of the most body blocks that could really happen to a Zerg player, yeah. Oreo's now maxed out, but honestly, Saiko's not too far behind. He definitely has enough to deal with this, but he needs to have his force fields on point. No, he uses another Everything blows up here, like the Banelings on top of the Zealots. Very good. Yoigno on the Colossus and on the Disruptor.
Exactly. That is what Oreo needed. Finally, he does deal with those high-tech units, but he still has to deal with what's on the ground, and honestly, he's running out of steam. Like, he only has a couple of Ravagers and Lings. He doesn't have too much buffer, and now another Colossus shows up.
He's trying to produce as many reinforcements as possible, but they still have quite a lot of land to traverse.
Yo!
The creep spread. That was what's so good.
The hatchery!
Is not anymore. The hatchery's so low. I was waiting for a second. Oreo would start absorbing from it.
Yeah. Honestly, that Void Ray could have just stepped forward and right-clicked the hatchery and it would have died. Oh my god. Now finally the queens show up and they do transfuse.
Imagine being a hatchery in this case, thinking you're going to get injected, but it's actually a transfuse.
I mean, I'm sure you'd be happy about that, mate. I mean, he's bleeding out of every orifice, mate. Oh my god.
Yeah, and there needs to be more band-aids here.
Meanwhile, here comes
every orifice. Jeez.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That's a lot more graphic than I thought.
I mean,
ow, that's horrifying. I did not process what you said earlier.
Hey, look at the gases there.
Like,
look at the gas. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Bleeding everywhere. Yeah.
Oh god. But here comes Saiko pushing out across the map with 3 Colossus, but Oreo, he has sucked on some of his buildings. He does have plenty of energy on his Vipers. Ready to yoink some of these Colossus.
Yoink the Colossus. Might have enough for a couple of Blinding Clouds left over.
God, he's
we'll have to see. The Vipers start to come in, but they're so slow right now. Light. Oreo continuing to... Oh, you cannot yoink units as a recall. Super important here for Saiko.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that was really smart of Saiko because that did waste some energy on these Vipers.
Yeah, it's one of those weird scenarios, right? They already shot their hooks forward. But no. Just couldn't land while they're being recalled.
Yeah, the timing was on point there by Saiko. Meanwhile, Oreo still has a lot of momentum here, but he just has, like, for the longest time, he just hasn't really been able to do anything. The Vipers!
This Void Ray light is so anti-air!
Oh my god.
And this is a very, very defensible location. A couple of yoinks go down, but the Vipers do get taken out in the end. Oreo's gonna have to back away, and I'm getting very worried for Oreo now. Like, enough time has passed. Saiko is getting... He already finished up with the Fleet Beacon. He's getting his carriers out. We're in this late game scenario that Oreo wanted more than anything else to avoid.
And by all means, he should have avoided it. By all means, but Saiko did such a good job at buying time. And he's still doing that. He's still pushing out on the map. He's still distracting Oreo. And there's 3 carriers being made at a time. Oreo, he does have an Ultra Cavern. He does not. He does not have a Spire.
That he does not. And Saiko doesn't have High Templar. Okay, now he has High Templar. Had High Templar. Alright, decent amount of damage being done here. Saiko does not have much of a bank, so he can't afford to really be losing probes like this.
Yeah, he loses the entire base. Oreo, he's getting ready to hit the 4th base, but When these carriers get revealed, though, like I'm afraid it may just be over, mate. Like there's literally nothing shoots up. It's only Queen's Rentier.
Yeah, it's like Oreo needs to realize what Saiko's doing very, very early here.
Well, like he just needs to scout. He just needs to send something in, Papi. Send something in. Oh no.
Just send the Ultralist.
Let's just send in the Viper. Whatever you need to do, mate. He's coming in. He's maxed out.
What you need to.
Oh, now he's gonna see the carriers. Oh boy.
Oof, really good snipe on that Viper. Does he see the carriers though?
Not yet. Not yet.
Now he does. Now he yoinks them, but there's nothing to take him out. Only now starting to get the Spire. Oreo needs to buy himself so much time here. And I don't think Saiko's willing to give it to him.
These 3 carriers are going to win Saiko the game. Oreo dropping heavily in supply. Saiko, he's going for it. If Saiko turns around, it's a massive mistake. Oreo needs to do something to buy some time, but I don't think he can, mate. This could be it.
It really could be. Saiko is still being a little bit cautious here, so maybe if Oreo goes for some big counterattacks, and he is going for a lot of run buys. So many spores coming up because he just does not have anti-air.
Well, like he has a massive bank. He's waiting for the corruptors. He knows that he just needs to buy time, and these honestly these spores are going to help a lot as long as they borrow in time. I don't like how aggressive he's being with these. Oh god.
Yeah, he's avoiding Purification Novas, which is good. The Ravagers coming in to really start distracting the ground army for Saiko. The run by from both ends will get cleaned up.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like Oreo will lose a base, though. Oh my god, he's trying to rebuild his army. He still has a decent bank. The Spire is about to finish up in a couple of seconds.
He's going to be holding down that C key. It's C to make Corruptus, right?
I use J, alright? I am. The base does go down. No, the shot!
Funnily enough, it avoids a lot, but that one doesn't. So many Ravagers go down. The Spores are doing a good job of keeping the carriers at bay, but not much else.
And Oreo is down to 2 bases. GG gets called. And Saiko takes the series 2-1.
Yeah, honestly, very well fought by Oreo here, but Saiko knew exactly how to defend. He knew exactly how to hold against the style Oreo likes to do in his ZvP. And once he bought himself enough time to get into that late game, he knew that was his time.
Yeah, honestly, Oreo was doing very well, and he was actually like fighting very well in the middle of the map. He was doing all this harassment. The problem is that he just didn't know that text was coming. He was tunnel visioning hard there at the end. He had no idea, and we saw as soon as he saw the carriers, he started the Spire. It was just too late. It was almost instant. By the way, when he saw those carriers, instantly he started the Spire, because he knew the situation he was in. He knew that he was going to lose if he couldn't stop them. But it takes a while for the Spire to finish up, mate. He wasn't ready for it. Oh god, feels bad, man. GG.
Guess it does go to show the inexperience, shall we say, of Oreo when it comes to the late game scenario. At least in ZvP.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I do think it's just tunnel visioning there. You know, like again, like these two, they play together a lot, and oh god, that was really well executed by Saiko. Like he knew what he needed to do to get back into the game. If he stayed on a ground focused army, like he would have lost. He would have straight up just ultras are coming out, mate. So yeah, really well done there. Nice decision making by Saiko.
And now I believe, oh, not quite. Yep, but Saiko is going to be advancing to the pre-qualifying match, if you want to call it that. It'll be facing either Dash or V for Vivaldi.